Hey guys, and welcome back to the Franchise Tagged podcast. It is season 3, episode 10, and we are here live wherever you get your podcasts. That is, Spotify, Apple, Amazon.
Overcast, Amazon.
That's the one.
That's always the one I throw out as like the we're on iHeartRadio as
Oh,
well. Yeah, I could throw that
wow.
one out as one of those like obscure ones too. Um,
Yeah.
so
Check
yeah,
us out
everywhere, anywhere you want.
anywhere you want to, truly. We're going to get into things with a quick little Week 12 recap, talking about the past games this past week, and then we're going to go into our continuation of our player position drafts. This time it is receivers, and then we are going to get into some Week 13 highlights. If we have some time, we'll ramble again like we did at the end of the last episode. That was fun, and we'd like to keep doing it. So, Texans at
Yeah,
Bills, Thursday Night Football. What are the Bills? Let me
what
ask
are the
you if
Bills?
you have any insight into what's going on in
I
Buffalo.
I don't because I didn't watch this game, and I knew you were watching this game, and I was like, it'll be a good question to ask him because I looking at the box score after the game, of course with Davis Mills getting the start, it was like not everyone's rooting for the Texans. Not everyone thinks that's going to be a realistic, chance. You wouldn't put your betting money on it. And then, you look at, Josh Allen and no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. James Cook ran all over the field and they still lost by 4 points. And it's because of the turnovers. And I was really just wondering, like, is this, and then of course, all the pressure that was getting to Josh Allen, but were these like interceptions kind of like, last week? I suppose that was last week. 2 weeks ago, where he's chest passing in the red zone, or are these just good defensive plays? What
So
made this happen?
the defense was getting after Josh Allen. The
Yeah.
Texans defense is the number one defense. So they were getting after him. They hurt him early, and I thought he was like done for the season after he got tackled. And then he came out for like the next series. So I don't know if he was just overreacting on that tackle, but it seemed like he was in a lot of pain in his throwing arm, like his forearm.
Mm.
And so I thought that he had maybe like fractured his wrist or something. But I did not get to watch the entire game, so I did not actually see the interceptions. I just saw
Mm.
all of the sacks, which there were a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of Will Anderson getting after the quarterback. And I would imagine it was a lot of the pressure induced mistakes and the fear induced mistakes. And when we look at it through the whole season, the Bills offense has been bad. It's not been as potent as it has been in years past. It it has been a lot of things falling on Josh Allen's shoulders and him not being able to quite lead his team to victory half the time. And it's because he doesn't have any help anywhere else. And the offensive scheme is not using James Cook to its best abilities. And this game it did. But when the offensive line can't protect Josh Allen and the only success on offense you have is through James Cook, it's just not going to work out for you. So I think it's all of the inefficiencies of the Bills that we're seeing this season. And then it's also the mental aspect of knowing that the AFC East is slipping from their grasp and they're not going to
Mm.
be the continuous, like, this year is not going to be another year where they cruise to an AFC East championship because they're in a division with a bunch of bozos. Like, this is the Patriots have a cake schedule and they are a good team. So they are going to win a lot of games and they are going to take the division. So it's I think it's a lot of things combining to make this a bad year for the Bills, and I think this is a year that they need to start looking at maybe moving off of McDermott and saying, experiment attempted, and he's gotten us pretty far, but he's never been able to support a good defense to help Josh Allen, and he's never been able to instill the right offensive mentality throughout an entire season. It's always been that the offense shows flashes and Josh Allen shows his brilliance, and then the playoffs come around and the defense just cannot get a stop for anything. And then the offense can't carry the defense that much.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing with the Bills because kind of how you referenced their success and in part lack of success under McDermott because they haven't gone as far as you would have ever thought they would. Now they do hit this roadblock called the Chiefs in the playoffs every single year, it feels like, and that's like their kryptonite. But at the same time, I feel like they're not they have yet to really walk away from a draft with like great grades. So I'm not even really going to put it on McDermott. I think like a lot of it is the replacement of defensive players, or because I mean they had that mass exodus. I think it was 2-3 years ago, and since then I feel like they haven't really had a major like. Obviously, they're picking late in the drafts because of that success and lack thereof. But it does feel like there's players that slip through the cracks, and I feel like Harrison was a good one this year. But there's definitely ways that over the past few years they could have improved the roster as opposed to have it kind of slowly slip on that defensive side of the ball. Because the Bills, I mean, offensively, they're running a lot of two tight end because they have two great tight ends, and that's kind of opening up the run game. That's able to help them not rely so much on wide receivers, and so they don't really have the wide receiver depth. But I mean, end of the day, the defense is a piece that has slacked as of late, and so I feel like that would be the focus there. Now, flip side, Texans, man, I saw one clip, mind you, one clip because I watched this end of the drive where Allen got hurt, and then they were like, "Oh, he's actually up on the sideline, looks fine." And then I watched the next Texans drive, and that was like the moment I had to watch the game there. But they showed like the 30 yards that Will Anderson ran to get to that tackle on Josh Allen that did, end with the short injury there, and I was like, "Damn, dude! Like Will Anderson, he's just one of them ones. Like, what a draft they had." As the complete inverse of what I was just kind of saying with the Bills, the Texans when they were bad and they, had CJ and they had Will in that draft, like they capitalized on it. They used their capital, maximized it, got a staple, a cornerstone for their defense. And I feel like the Bills, you don't have to always make a huge swing in the draft in order to get your cornerstone, but they have been not doing that. They haven't gotten themselves a cornerstone. And especially, who's the D tackle the Bills have that is always kind of injured?
Ed Oliver.
Yeah. They need to get a new Ed Oliver because
they did draft D tackle this year. No?
Yeah, they did. I think it was like TJ Sanders, Arkansas State guy. I'm just not sure. I mean, Ed Oliver's a huge dude. But
no, yeah, I agree. I think they do need to take more swings, and I think it's Brandon Beane is the GM, and on Twitter it's a lot of hate for him. And the trade deadline this year, there were a lot of rumors about Jalen Waddle getting dealt, and the Bills were the top suitor for him. And obviously, an in-division trade is tough, but allegedly the compensation that was being asked was a first-round pick. And to me, that's something as the Bills that you just hand over. You're just like, okay. Take the 27th pick.
Yeah.
Take it. You're not replacing Jalen Waddle with the 27th pick. And knowing the draft history of Brandon Beane and this Bills front
you can
office,
do
Bills
without
unit.
Like
you can pass on a 27th pick. You're good. You're not taking another Keon Coleman who's going to get cut at the end of the year or something like that. Like take Jalen Waddle, give Josh Allen an actual weapon, and see if it works. And if it doesn't, it already wasn't working. Like your team already was not working. It's not going to be the end of the world if you lose a first round pick. Like, I don't know. I saw a lot of that sentiment on Twitter, and I can't help but agree with it.
Yep. We'll move on into the next game on our docket here, and that's going to be the Lions overtime win over the 2-9 New York Giants. A lot of people, of course, I live in Michigan, so I go to work, and a lot of people are immediately like, dude, that was a horrible game. We really suck. How are they keeping it competitive? However, I will say, the ways that the Giants kept it competitive weren't exactly like sustainable ways. So as the game went on, it was like, I really hate that it's not an handedly easy win, but I can't knock the fact that they ran 2 trick plays and saw massive success from them, despite the fact that one of those trick plays was kind of a broken But like this wide receiver, Gunnar, however you say his last name,
Olszewski. Olszewski.
Okay.
Patriots legend,
He
Gunnar Olszewski.
he sprints up the only opening he had, steps up into the pocket. No, he sprinted up the pocket and then chucked that ball. And like, great ball.
To Jameis, right?
To Jameis. And,
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, Derek Barnes, linebacker, was late to picking up Jameis. And so he wasn't exactly in the best position to make a play on that.
Let me ask you this. You are Derek Barnes. Put yourself in his mind now.
Mm-hmm.
You see Jameis Winston running outside of the pocket.
Yeah, I'm patty caking with the tackle, and I'm like, wait, Jameis Winston's behind me, and this wide receiver is holding the ball to throw it. And then he sprints the 15 yards back, almost contests the ball, flies around Jameis's hips because, he just got there.
Hips don't lie.
Yeah, Jameis something. You know how the quarterbacks be.
That's Dak, but I'm sure Jameis does something similar.
Yeah, got to keep the hips flexible.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, like they were getting these giant chunk plays, but it wasn't super sustainable. Now I will say Wan'Dale Robinson, that was sustainable. They were just feeding the ball to him. He was destroying us. Wan'Dale and Amon-Ra had very similar stats. So that's just like, whoa.
Wan'Dale's one of those guys. He's like, to me, he's like a Chase Brown, where he's like a name I keep seeing pop up, and I'm like, I don't think I just don't believe it. I don't believe he's real. I don't think he's a real person. So evidently he is, and every time he's been given opportunities, he's always done fine. But then I'm like, okay, but why are you not building around him? Like, why are you not saying, all right, we don't need Malik Neighbors. We're good. We got Wan'Dale Robinson. It's because he's not all that. But anyways.
It's because he is all that when he's against an injured secondary like ours is, or depleted secondary. And that was one thing, like, a lot of people came into this game thinking it was going to be a cakewalk, and I didn't, because I was like, they have Jameis, and he loves to rack up some yards, He racks up the stats, and our DBs, they've played very well, but at the end of the day, they are backups, so they're going to have some failings. And so, I think as a whole, the game, I'm glad we won it. I'm glad Amon-Ra got out of the funk, because first half he even dropped 2 more passes, and it was like, oh, this is going to be another like just slightly off the mark with him and Goff for the whole game. It's going to feel like we don't really have an offense at all. And instead it went, the Jahmyr Gibbs showed up. Man, 3 touchdowns, like 265 yards.
And some yards, yeah.
A 69-yarder to start off overtime. For a half second, I was like, man, I wish they didn't have a chance to respond. But no, this is better.
This is better in every game except the ones that my team's in.
Well, at the same point, as I said, split second thought, because they deferred the kick to us. So, yeah, we weren't going to have that chance to do that otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like we're still trying to find a rhythm with Dan Campbell being the play caller. Had a couple of gaffes where we would spike twice, actually. End of first half, end of game. We spiked the ball. Seconds later, we use a timeout because the play call wasn't ready for the next play. So just some gaffes happening there. I feel good about the team. Now, everyone's feeling bad heading into the Packers game. Like, oh, if we beat the Giants by 1 score, how are we going to beat the Packers?
Yeah, but the Packers lost to the Browns. Like, come on.
And who beat the Giants the week before us? The Packers. Oh, by how much? By 7 points. So the Packers have their own inconsistencies and their own issues going on. So I'm not too worried about it. It's at home, so we got that advantage. But I'll get off of my Lions soapbox here. I will say,
we can pivot to the
pass rush. I hate that we didn't add anybody, because it's just really becoming apparent that we can't pass rush outside of Hutch. Now I'll pass it on.
Yep. On to the Pats at Bengals. This game, speaking of the Giants, Patriots play them this weekend. I am terrified, let me tell you. Because this was one of our weakest showings, honestly. It was a weak victory. It was we lost Will Campbell and Jared Wilson, both of our rookie offensive line picks. Wilson has been starting at left guard for us the entire season. Will Campbell obviously at left tackle. So a new combo of left side of the O-line. I don't know if you watched this game or saw anything about it at all, but those two injuries happened and they were both carted off the field.
Yeah.
And they were like, Will Campbell had a towel over his head and like everybody was like, oh yeah, his ACL's done. Like he's out for the season. Turns out MCL sprain, and Jared Wilson was a similar sprain. So they're both going to be back in a couple weeks, but just the manner in which they left was very demoralizing for us. And I was nervous, and a lot of people on Twitter were saying stuff like, this is we had a good run this year. This was a lot better than we expected to be. Time to retool and rebuild and get ready for next year. And just kind of, we lost Drake Maye's blindside protectors, and knowing the backup O-line, which was the starting O-line last year, it's not good. Like, it's a pretty bad unit. So I do fear for the new starters going against Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence is still there, and it's just a unit.
Yeah, they got after the Lions. Like, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, much better O-line over there in Detroit. But yeah, I'm scared, and I don't know that the Patriots are gonna take this one against the Giants, even though they absolutely should. But this Bengals game was just rough looking. I mean, Maye threw a pick six on like the first or second drive. It's been the same story of basically every game this year, where we come out of the gates looking just ice cold, and then it's like he has to walk off to the sideline, get punched in the face, and then he's like, oh right, I'm Drake Maye, and then he goes out there and lights it up. And that's what has happened every game this season, and it's what happened against the Bengals again. Everybody was thinking this would be Drake Maye's first 300-yard passing game, because he has not had one of those yet in his short career. But even against the Bengals' trash defense, we could not get that done because we are limited by the ceiling of our playmakers, which are less than ideal.
That are booty.
Yeah. Speaking of.
Right, literally. Yeah, just looking at the game, because I didn't get to watch any snaps. I saw a couple of plays here and there, but yeah, it's just like the end score is what's shocking. Like, okay, it wasn't, as I said, a lot of people went into the Lions-Giants game thinking, oh, this is going to be a blowout. That's how I looked at this game on the schedule, because I know the weaknesses of that Bengals defense, and it's thin. And the way that Maye was playing at an MVP level, and so you would have thought
still did.
Yeah, I'm not sure he didn't, but I'm just saying, like, it's petered off from those like huge MVP talks, because now I feel like everyone's leaning Stafford, which we'll get into.
We'll get into that. I'm pissed about it. Well, not pissed, but I think that's horseshit. But we'll get into that.
You call him stat. Do we just want to transition there now?
Yeah, he's stat Padford to the
there
fucking
it is.
extreme, dude. Throwing passes on the 1 yard line is absurd. Like that is just stat seeking behavior. And like, I hadn't watched many Rams games. I didn't know it was this bad. Like, I want to know what percentage of his touchdowns are 5 or fewer yards, because half of them were in this game. And like, dude, come on. Like, you're on the 1 fucking yard line and you're not confident enough in your run game to run the damn ball. It worked. Like, they scored a touchdown, but dude, like,
they're just that much.
You're giving
more
him 2
confident
top
in the
5
fade
receivers. You're giving Matthew Stafford 2 top 5 receivers, and you're saying, oh my goodness, he's leading the league in touchdowns. Who could have thought this? And then you turn on the games and he's throwing passes from the 1 yard line. Like, give me a fucking break. Anyways.
All right,
let's see.
I quickly found it. So Devontae Adams within the red zone gets 36% of the targets for the offense, and has 10 touchdowns off of his 11 receptions. That fade go brr. It's nuts. Yeah, I will say,
run the damn ball.
I will say, target share being 36%, 11 receptions. That means they're only passing it, 30 times in the red zone all year long. So, and that's red zone. That's not like within the 10. So you can feel pretty confident in that.
He had 2 5 or fewer yard touchdowns in this past game.
Yes, and he had 2 in a different game earlier this year.
Yeah, there was another game earlier this year where there was like a 2 yard. His stat line was like 3 for 17, 2 touchdowns, and I'm like, okay, like, Are we serious? Is this seriously going to be what wins him the MVP? Is just that he's throwing 2-yard fade routes to Devontae Adams? Like,
You might be referencing the 5 catches, 35 yards, and 3 touchdowns against the Jags.
that
Yeah,
sounds right. That's if we're rewarding that with an MVP, then the award has truly lost its meaning. Like, I'm
yeah.
I'm seriously unmoved by Matthew Stafford. His stats are whatever they are because he does that.
I think the more impressive thing to me isn't like, oh, he's leading league in touchdowns. It's more so the fact that he's only thrown 2 interceptions on the year. So, like,
Cool. He's
it's
throwing to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. If you
hey,
gave
Puka
Drake May
Nacua
those
was
weapons,
hurt.
he'd have 300-yard games.
Hey, that doesn't mean that they, some people just be throwing. Also, I will say, to double back to the Lions game, Jared Goff, yet another random pick, like batted, bumbled around, picked off. I was like, dude, Jared Goff can't catch a break. The stat sheet is gonna hate him this year because every single one of his interceptions is not his fault,
There was
regardless.
another interception that was like I don't
The
remember what
Bucks
game
one,
it was
Baker.
in. Yeah, I think it was Baker. Yeah,
It was
yeah,
this
yeah.
game,
It
yeah.
was the pick six where it was like that's not a pick. That's K Dot dropping the ball, or not even
Yeah,
dropping it. That's just K Dot losing the ball to the defense
he like bumbled it, caught it,
like
and
6 or 7 times.
yanked out of his arm. Yeah. Like as soon as he brought it to his body, the way he brought it to his body was using the defender's body. Like
Yeah,
this guy,
and then
yeah.
that goes against was that Baker? Baker left the game early, but
Yep. And
I
it
think
does it
yeah,
does
that one
count
against
against him.
Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Counts as
Baker got hurt in that one too. That was a non-throwing shoulder injury. I think it was an AC joint. It was about as good as it could have been with his history of non-throwing shoulder injuries. So he'll be back in a few weeks, I think. But it's Teddy Bridgewater who looked like he didn't know what a football was for
Or
for
Teddy.
most of that game. Like, what are we? Was Kyle Trask really that bad? I mean, yes, he was, but like, was he really that much worse than what we saw Teddy Bridgewater just do? I don't know that he could have been.
Yeah, this game got away from the Bucks pretty quick.
Yeah.
Going into it, it was kind of this hope of like this is going to be a nice tough matchup, and then I turned it off at halftime because I was like, okay, this is pretty good, pretty done and dusted there. I can't even really say for certain like what the issues were for the Bucks. I mean, obviously, passing game wasn't working for them, but it just felt like the defense played better than their offense did. And then on the flip side, you've got Stafford, who is doing Stafford things.
It's shocking to me, right, that the Bucks were out of this game since like the first quarter. Like within the first quarter, we kind of knew this game was over.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rams still didn't put up 100 rushing yards because they let Matt Stafford throw 35 times in a game that they won 34-7. Anyways, that's Stat Padford rant over.
The stat Padford. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at some of the stats here, for this argument to be had where Drake May versus him.
I mean, Drake May did not have a good enough game against the Bengals to warrant
not
MVP
not
talks,
not game
but
to game. I'm just looking stats over the season. Yeah,
does Drake May still lead the league in passing
uh,
yards? Or
Yeah,
okay, I think that's
he's
bye week
won.
related more than
Stafford's 5. Damn, Drake May is time to throw. Then 9 more touchdowns for Stafford. Get rid of Devontae, and that's 1 less. And then he's got 4 less interceptions.
yeah.
And then no rushing.
Some of those picks have not been May's fault, but this past game one, the pick six was a bad throw, which was rough to see. But again, he's second year, no receivers, and Stafford's
Veteran.
37
been
with
at it for
two
a
of the
while.
best receivers in the league and the best play caller in the league. And Josh McDaniels is such a good play caller when he wants to be. And then there's times like this where it's like, you could call good plays, and he's just like, but what if I didn't? Wouldn't that be fun?
But I don't want Travion to do good because I want to prove my agenda against him.
Well, he
Moving on.
outcarried Ramondre by quite a bit. So
I'm aware. I know. I'm saying he didn't want him to succeed with those efforts.
agenda proven, Bucko.
So he can then give them back to Ramondre. um, we'll
It's
move
like,
on.
Travion, I want you to run straight into the D tackle's arms. Thank you.
All right, here's the play call. Find the nearest D tackle, get to him. I know you can do it, and I know you can do it quick.
He's like, oh, so I'm blocking the D tackle. I'm blocking him, right?
You're gonna block him, but with the ball in your hands.
This brand new method I'm trying.
I know. We usually say, get your hands on their inner chest. Instead want you to put your helmet on their chest. Let them take you down. I just want you to be fodder, all right? But coach, I've got the football. Fodder.
Yeah. We'll worry about that later.
Anyways, we'll get into the Monday Night Football game. I will say, I won't touch too long on this because I went into this hoping to see more from the Panthers. Didn't. I mean, run the ball more, Dave Canales? Maybe. I don't know. Pass game wasn't being that efficient. You ran the ball a total of 13 times, and 4 of those were Bryce Young scrambles. So, don't know, man. Don't know.
Yeah. You've got a guy that is Rico Dowdle still like top 5 in rushing yards on the season just off the back of those 2 games. I feel like he
probably
was for a minute. Like he had 2 200-yard rushing games, and then they were like, Chuba's back. Let's get him back in the lineup. And it's like, no, you have a running back that just ran for 400 yards in 2 weeks.
He is
Don't
sixth.
put Chuba back in the lineup.
He is 6th.
What are we doing, Dave? Run the damn ball.
The play calling for this, the 13 rushes for the Panthers versus the 38 for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, literally one of these games.
Isaac Guerrero get any touches?
One of these teams was down, Obviously, the Panthers weren't gaining much of a rhythm. They got a touchdown in the third quarter. But the game definitely wasn't, out of reach for any point of time. 4 minutes left in the game. They missed their kick that would have put them down by 1 score. And so that's an easily manageable game, but Dave Canales just refused to get any rhythm going to run the ball. And also, whenever they got in the red zone, because they got in the red zone a lot, because this, I will say, a lot of people call defensive games boring. This was one of the defensive games that was exciting. And it's not because, oh, this is a defensive game because the offense sucks. This was a defensive game where the defense was good. The defense was balling out. There were so many turnovers. It was just haymakers of defensive plays going back and forth. J.C. Horn making insane plays, coming as the deep third on the left side to pick a ball off on the right hash. Just making insane plays because he's like, oh, no one's in my zone. Let me go hawk this ball down. And so, it was it was an entertaining defensive game, and I feel like it's kind of misconstrued that defensive games are boring because usually a game is defensive because the offenses are buns. No, whenever it's a Thursday night football game a few years ago and it's Jets, Broncos, and they put up a total of 20 points, that's not a defensive game. That was 2 offenses that sucked ass.
Actually, it was that for 5 or 6 years, every single Thursday night.
Every Thursday night
actually
football
just
game.
no. It was actually just Titans versus Jaguars every Thursday night for 6 straight years. Somehow
they didn't get
I don't know how
any
they made
good
that work
teams.
with the schedule, but that was the matchup.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between there's also a difference between defenses being good and defenses being flashy. And you look at a game like the Super Bowl with the Patriots and Rams, I feel like that wasn't a super flashy defensive Super Bowl, and so people hate that game so much, even though it was a 2 of the best defenses we have ever seen going at it.
Yeah.
And it's a miracle that game was it's not a miracle that it was a low scoring game, but that game was nuts. That game had the Aaron Donald led Rams defense that was so crazy, and then it had a Patriots defense that's always good. And I think that was Depoy Gilly year. That was the Patriots had a defensive player of the year as a cornerback. And when does that happen? But it wasn't the flashy, J.C. Horn going and making crazy plays, and it wasn't any.
It was just lockdown play.
Crazy turnover. It was actually just lockdown, and those are boring as shit to watch, but it is still impressive when it happens. And this is a different type of. It's very impressive. It's a very good defense, but it's also entertaining to watch. So there are two types of good defensive matchups.
And of course, all of that leans on like the casuality of football, right? Like the casual fan is going to understand offense a lot more than they understand defense, and so then they don't care that this flat defender just like came off of their assignment to, on this. I don't know how to say it, the hitch in the corner concept. I think it's called smash. And then you go ahead and come off of your flat route because you understand that the quarterback's going over you and make that play. Casual fan probably isn't going to like that because they would have preferred to have seen a deep shot reception caught. But this was a fun one, I thought. Purdy, 3 interceptions. Everyone was trying to give the ball away. Like
QB
everyone.
Controversy in San Fran.
Was
Is
Mac
it Mac Jones time? Is it Michael McCorkle Jones time? You know what I was thinking during this game? All I could think is just wait until KOC gets his hands on McCorkle. Just wait until that happens. Just wait until 9 has to compete with Mac Jones.
Not 9. Did JJ get hurt? I feel like he got hurt. 9 got hurt.
No, he just sucked.
Oh, okay.
The Vikings fans wish 9 got hurt. I actually don't know if he did. He may have. Nope.
In concussion
12
protocol.
19, 87 yards, two interceptions, no touchdowns. Nobody else threw a pass. So
no, they put him in concussion protocol after the game. So
that was from Justin Jefferson smacking him in the head a couple times.
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll move on.
You see those. You see the clip of Justin Jefferson, the old clip of him going, "Come on, Kirk." Mm-hmm, and then you see this and you're like, I wonder who he prefers. But anyways,
we'll move past the straight recaps and all of our little banter we had in there. The Niners are really doing a lot with their injuries, so kudos to them.
Yeah.
And damn it, Dave, run the damn ball. And that's all I have to say to round off that segment.
Couldn't agree more. And we're back with the brand new, beautiful, sparkling overlay, and that means we are getting into our segment. So we are going to intro this like it's a regular YouTube video because we do upload these as regular YouTube videos. This one is going to be a wide receiver attributes draft, but we shall get into that and explain the whole thing for all of the standard YouTube viewers. So if you are here for the podcast, bear with us. One moment.
Hold on.
3.
Do we want to add like strength as one of these? Straight.
All
Seems
right,
like
who's
an easy
picking
fifth
DK Metcalf?
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Strength
It was a very late
like run blocking and
contested and such. Okay.
Let's build the perfect NFL wide receiver. So this edition of our attributes draft segments, we are going to be building 2 receivers each. So it's going to be the same kind of order of first person makes their pick, then the second person picks twice, snake draft style, but we are going to be picking for 2 total receivers. So at the end of this, we will have sort of a full team, I would imagine. And so to start things off, would you like to play rock, paper, scissors with me, and hopefully we don't tie 6 times?
All right, on shoot.
Yep. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Motherfucker.
We didn't tie 6 times, brother, but I have won yet again.
Yep.
All right, so best player available, and there's a lot of them that could easily be considered here. I will say, I'm not sure if you stated the banned list. The banned list for this one is going to be Puka Nacua. We've got Jamar Chase banned as well, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Those are our 5 players that we banned. The top of the top that we go through every position, make a list of 5. We go ahead and block them out. So looking at it, I think I'll get the one out of the way. A current, record holder. I'm gonna get Xavier Worthy as speed out of the way.
Okay.
Feels like
he was one that
easy way to set it apart.
I had my eyes on him, but I have a different player that I really wanted, and I'm glad you didn't pick him. I didn't think you would, but I'm taking George Pickens' hands.
Dang. Okay. See, George Pickens was one that I was like, maybe strength could be a good one there because he just, versus contested catches be a great one.
But I'm thinking of hands, including
Yeah.
To me, contested catching is more than just having good hands, and George Pickens has, I think, the best hands in the league. He's not the best receiver in the league, but I think he is up there for the best hands in the league. And to follow that up, I'm actually going to pair him with his teammate, and that is CeeDee Lamb, and I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb's routes.
Nice. Can't knock that.
And I am choosing to throw those on the same receiver. So we do have the option of taking, some varying, I might want to make sure my second receiver is good, but I want to make sure that my first receiver is pretty solid as
stacked. Okay. I think as much as you will have some disdain for this name, given the full podcast episode, which comes out tomorrow at noon. Happy Thanksgiving as well, if you tune in for that one. But I'm gonna put Devontae Adams routes.
He's a surgeon.
He's a damn good route runner.
Him. I have disdain for the Rams.
The fact that they're calling
throw
the
ball on the goal line, not
okay.
that he is a good route runner. I have a problem with first and goal on the one, and it's not a run play. That's where I have my disagreement.
All right. And then going on my current Xavier Worthy speed player, I'm going to be putting T. Higgins for my strength.
Okay.
I think he's just a guy that I had... solid, strong guy. He's a great wide receiver 2. And you go ahead and put him here because wide receiver 1 is banned in this one.
Yeah. I am going to... See, you've taken Xavier Worthy. I think... I'm gonna go Jalen Waddle's speed.
Yep, that's.
And I'm gonna actually take that on my second receiver. So I'm gonna have Jalen Waddle
starting speed off.
Yeah, and he's not. I mean, I feel like there are probably faster individual receivers, and that's against my MO to go with somebody who's not just the absolute fastest player in the league, but. Other than Worthy, I couldn't tell you who the next record holder is. But then I think
I will say this one thus far is just already my favorite because of the varied. We got 2 players we're drafting. We're gonna have to try to balance that. I just like the way this one's shaping up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up.
We're gonna have to get deeper in the bag
receivers
too.
Real quick, just because I feel like I don't have that right now.
And you don't want to miss someone that's like right at the top because you blanked on it. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go. Okay. I am going to take with Jalen Waddle's speed. I am going to take DK Metcalf's strength.
Okay.
And that is like, I mean, I could also.
So far, right
DK
now, you've made
Metcalf's
DK
speed.
Metcalf.
Like,
yeah.
I was going to say DK Metcalf might be faster than Jalen Waddle. I don't really know for sure, but. Yeah.
All right. For Yak moves, Rashee Rice is one that comes to mind.
I thought about him for sure.
He's always catching those little, short zone sits and then just absolutely will make the first 2 guys miss. So that's a big one. I put that on my Devontae Adams guy. So Devontae Adams, Rashee Rice making people miss. I think that's a great little combo there. Now I'm kind of looking at the catch percentage, and I'm thinking of like the hands and stuff like that. And I'm kind of thinking, there's a lot of wide receivers that can catch in the NFL. Shocker. So that one's probably going to go a little further down my back burner here. What we want to get is Jameson Williams' speed.
Motherfucker! I just saw him, and I was like, how did I pick Waddle over him for speed? I had just seen him, and I just realized, like, oh. Let's see. I will take. You know what? I'll leave my last speed for last because the guy that I'm going to take there, you're not going to take for anything else. So I'm not concerned about that, and so I don't need to take anybody there. How do we feel about injured players? I know we've kind of been
veering away from them a bit, but depends on their are they out for the year? Like you about to put Tyreek in there for speed?
No, not Tyreek. God no.
Okay, yeah, that's my point. Is I feel like you say the player in the position, and there's like an argument to be made. I'm not gonna say like no because they're injured or if they
I
showed
was
that they
thinking
were still
Garrett
good
Wilson,
at it.
but I think I'm going to avoid him for now. I might snag him later, but I'm just going to say no for now.
Yeah. Hmm.
I am going to take. See, Yak is so weird because I feel like I don't know the most about Yak stats.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I'm just going off of like eye test. CD Lamb would have been a great one for Yak.
that's
Um,
fair. Yeah, I'm gonna take the routes of Lad McConkey. So
okay.
we're gonna get a little white boy in there for routes.
You needed your lunch pail guy, really.
I did. We can't have pure athleticism here. We got to have a little bit of technicality. Anyways, and then next up, I'm going to take the. I'm gonna save
This is
that one
when he
for later.
gets
That one's gonna
Greg
be
Dortch.
fun.
Um,
No, no. You know what? Yak of Greg. No. I think I'll take the hands here of Drake London.
damn you! I
Yeah,
was gonna, I
glad
was
I
gonna
glad I
grab,
snagged that.
I was gonna grab
I was
Drake
between a
London.
couple
Literally my
people
next
and I was
pick.
like, you know what? I want Drake London here. I've got a couple other players that I want, but Yak is just something that I need to pull up some Yak stats. So while you're figuring out your next one, I'm gonna pull up some Yak stats.
Yeah, Drake London was the one I like. I was like, I'm gonna get his hands because I know you're gonna want his hands, and I want him more. Um,
Well, clearly
all
you
right.
didn't.
So right now I've got hands and strength missing from a wide receiver that is currently JMO speed, Devontae Adams routes, and Rashid Rice yak. And then I've got Xavier Worthy speed and strength of T Higgins as my other wide receiver, missing routes, hands, and yak on that one. So obviously I'm gonna want to fill out that one a little bit more. I'm looking at routes, hands, and yak. I feel like maybe it's just screens that I'm thinking. Like that's all I'm really thinking of. But I'm gonna go with Khalil Shakir. I feel like he's
That
always
was the
making short
next name I was
catches.
gonna take. That was
He's
the
always
next one
making
I was gonna take. Yeah.
short catches go for a lot. So I'm gonna take Khalil Shakir for yak. And then I kind of already said I'm gonna defer hands to be pretty late here. I will take the routes next, and I think I'm gonna stack this onto the same wide receiver, and I'm feeling like a strong option here. I could kind of go same vein as Devontae Adams, add Mike Evans into this mix, but I won't. I think what I'm really feeling the most here, and this is an injured player, so it's kind of getting into that gray area, but I'm gonna go Malik Neighbors.
Ooh. I don't.
Just like the severity of the injury, you don't like the pick there?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I was shying away from Garrett Wilson, who will probably be back at some time this year, and
yeah,
that's
that's fair. I thought Wilson was
so
out
I
for a
don't
year.
know. He's
I'll
on
take
IR, but I don't think he's out for the year.
Gotcha. I'll take back and go to my second choice then. I'm gonna go with Mika Ibuka.
Okay, that's another solid one.
Okay.
I feel like honestly, he's. I might prefer Buka's route running to Neighbors. That might be crazy to say, but I think Neighbors
I mean, going
like
forward,
I,
we don't know
I
with the ACL, so
true,
yeah,
true.
good argument to be made,
So
honestly.
I'm gonna take on my first receiver. I'm gonna load him up, and then I'll finish off my second receiver later. But I'm gonna go with the Yak of
Pause.
Zay Flowers.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I'm gonna give him that, and then I'm gonna go with the strength of AJ Brown, just because
Dude, how did I miss
that's
AJ Brown?
yeah. Well,
That
it's
one's
'cause he
been
sucks.
slipping.
So
Yeah, I was like, that one's just been
that's why
slipping and
you missed
slipping.
it. I was thinking of taking him a little earlier, and then I was like, nah, I can push it a little bit. There's strong receivers. I was gonna give a shout out to oh God, what's his name? Former Falcons receiver Brian Edwards. Brian Edwards. He's a DK Metcalf build. Like
Okay.
he's literally all he is a strong person. He's
All
not
that
that good
Brian
as
Edwards
a
makes me
receiver,
think
but
of is Panthers franchise because he was a wide receiver I had there in Madden. But that means it's my pick now,
let me see if
right?
he's on a roster right now. Nope, he's retired. Never mind. Couldn't have taken Brian Edwards anyways. It
Couldn't
is your pick.
couldn't
It
have
is your
him if you
pick.
wanted him.
Yep.
All right. Now I know my next two picks. I just wanted to figure out who's going where. Both are going to be hands picks. So Worthy, Igbuka routes, Khalil Shakir Yak, and T Higgins strength. You know what? I really want to go with that is Terry McLaurin
I
catching.
forgot about A good old Terry.
Good old scary Terry, body contortionist for a catch. Guy does everything. And then next one, I'm gonna go Michael Pittman, and that's gonna be for hands.
Okay.
And that's of course junior. And need the active one. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and get him for hands. So I got JMO speed, Devontae Adams routes, Michael Pittman Jr.'s hands, and Rashee Rice's yak. That's a menace. But
Yeah.
get into your picks, and then I have my last one.
Let me remember who I was thinking of because I had a guy in mind for speed, and I was like, oh yeah, you won't take him for anything else because all he really is speed, and I kind of forgot who I was looking at.
John
So
Ross, although he's probably out of the league. Well out of the
he
league.
is. He is well out of the league. Oh, I'm taking. This is going to be a little bit of alliteration. We'll see if that gives it away. I'm going to be taking the speed of Rashid Shaheed. So we're going to do that.
Nice. Look at that.
Just a fun guy, fun name to say.
Speed.
And then
Rashid.
that's going to go with the routes of CeeDee Lamb, the hands of George Pickens, the yak of Zay Flowers, and the strength of A.J. Brown. And then I'm going to go with the yak, finally, last pick. A guy who, this pick would have probably been first off the board a couple years ago. But at the moment, with his current talent level, I'm sure Jacob's a big fan, but I'm going to take Deebo Samuel.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Because he's still, I was looking at the yak
Still
percentages,
doing pretty
and
good.
I didn't have the yak percentages pulled up. I just sorted by yak high to low, and it was all running backs, and then it was Jamar Chase, and then it was Jameson Williams was actually pretty high just because he just
Jet sweeps, baby.
drag route to the house.
Yep.
And then Deebo Samuel had like 400 yards and 300 of them were after the catch. So his yak percentage is actually higher than a lot of people. Zay was like 300 yak yards and 700 total yards, so nothing crazy. But anyways,
All right, and then for my final pick, I alluded to him earlier. I'm going Mike Evans for strength.
okay.
He's had his injuries this year, but you still can't deny that he has that fade ball, just big guy, go up and get it kind of play style. So, man, these teams are stacked. these players.
I kind of went a couple different ways, but I didn't really go my traditional route of taking the specialized players. I'm curious to see who in the comments if you are thinking of any like specific speedsters that are just way faster than anything else and they can't really play like Tyquan Thornton could have gone for speed.
Oh yeah, no, I had him as a thought too, but I was like, he's literally on a team with the fastest 40 time, so I'm gonna go Worthy.
Yeah, I can't believe I missed Jamo, and then I saw him, and I was like, you were hovering on hands, and I was like, oh, thank God, he's not gonna take speed. And you mentioned Mike Evans, and I was like, oh, nice, he's not gonna take speed, and then you did. But yeah, let us know whose player you think is better, whose unit you think is better. I kind of went with a little bit of some chemistry, if you will. We have the hands and routes of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens on one player, and then obviously the strength of two college teammates in A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, both Ole Miss boys. They had that weight room pick that went viral after, like, in the pre-draft or whatever. So there's a little bit of that here, and then you've got both your guys are obscenely fast, and then route technicians, solid hands. I think your yak picks were better than mine, and then your strength was solid. T. Higgins was a guy I was considering for strength, but
your yak picks were also later though, so that was like Rashee Rice was definitely the best one there. I will say, question to you: which of your two do you think is the better one? Is it that stack of the Cowboys players?
It is, because not just I think Rashid is faster than Jalen Waddle, so I think that player is just faster. He's got better routes because CD is better than Ladd at routes. He's got better hands because Pickens has the best hands in the league. I think Yak, maybe Debo's better than Zay, but even then I think Zay could probably do better than Debo. And then it's AJ Brown versus DK, and they're pretty even on strength. So I think that first one is just a little better.
Yeah, I think looking at my two, my wide receiver one would be the one that's as fast as Jameson Williams. It's basically Devontae Adams in terms of routes and strength, and then has Rashee Rice's yak potential. That's a monster. Terry McLaurin though was a nice steal right at the end to make me
Yeah,
happy.
that was a name I'm not mad I missed, but it is good to give him the shout.
Yeah,
But
glad to
yeah,
see
y'all
him.
let us.
Not that bent out of shape on the fact that he wasn't yours.
Yeah, let us know who you think did better in the comments, and drop your own builds if you have any. If you have any, I want to see the specialized, like somebody that's going to take some down the depth chart receivers and build a receiver that's better than either of ours, because I think that can happen. I think
Yeah.
we both kind of went into it how you normally go into things, where you're taking the better players, like the best players available, and then just taking their
Well,
best attribute.
again, with wide receiver, there's a lot of them, you know? So, like,
Yeah,
to go way down the board on, like, speed to get, like, a wide receiver 3 who's super fast isn't super necessary because there are so many wide receiver 1s and 2s that are super fast. So,
yeah, it's true.
it's just a little bit of the... There's ample talent available. But that'll wrap up this video.
Yeah, so
You're
if you
interested?
have enjoyed, drop a
I'll
like.
let you. Yeah. Drop a like. Tune into the podcast that drops tomorrow on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving in advance. And yeah, we're going to go right back into the podcast section and wrap that up. Thank y'all for watching.
Absolutely. Welcome back to all you beautiful podcast people. And we are going to get into some highlight week 13 games. This is a weird week because we have, of course, 3 Thanksgiving games, and then we have a Black Friday, game, and then we have plenty of Sunday games as always, and then the Monday night
late, yeah.
Patriots.
A lot of football to be watching in the next
A lot.
Love it.
Yeah. You have any highlight matchups or?
I think that you can kind of look at all of the Thursday night games, Thursday, no longer just night. All of the Thursday matchups are pretty like big ones. I mean, Packers Lions is going to be a big contender for, trying to catch up in that tough division. This is an important matchup for those seedings later in the year. Chiefs Cowboys. The Chiefs did just pick one up in a massive overtime comeback, but I think Cowboys just did the same. So these are two in the hunt teams that need to pick this one up, and then it loses some intrigue when you get to nighttime and the Ravens and Bengals comes on, but we just saw how the Bengals did against the Patriots, so there might be some more gumption to them than we think.
Yeah, and then
Heading
getting
into
into the Friday game, that's an 8-3 Bears versus 8-3 Eagles. I had no idea the Bears were 8-3. That's nuts. That's insane. They don't strike me as an 8-3 team, but also the Eagles don't look like an 8-3 team this year. So I feel like this is almost a battle of the frauds on Black Friday, but we'll see how it ends up panning out and how that one turns out.
Yeah, I think also when you look at moving into that Sunday slate, that's this is the fodder, right? Like they really wanted to make sure Thanksgiving, Black Friday, everything looked great. And then you kind of get to Sunday. I wouldn't say there's
this and I'm like, Saints Dolphins, nice.
the standout game to me would have to be the Texans Colts after the Texans performance against one of the top AFC teams. It's in division. It's going to have a lot of hype to that. But then outside of that, Broncos going against the downtrodden Commanders on Sunday night, not really in tune with that. The Bills could have a bounce back.
I hope the Commanders pull off the upset there.
Yeah.
Put the Patriots at the top of the AFC, please. Thank you.
And then, we get into Monday night when it's a 10-2 versus a 2-10. And,
and that game is going to be the 2-10 team beating the 10-2 team. Trust.
Would they fire their defensive coordinator? So maybe they will get a 10-point lead and keep it. That remains to be seen, though. You can only hope.
Well, I hope we win. I'm not optimistic for that one, honestly. I'm a little bit pessimistic about our chances against the Giants with our lack of offensive line now. So
yeah, and especially, Jared Goff was pressured. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and Drake Maye, he doesn't do himself any favors. I think we're looking at a 12-sack game for the boy. Also, just something we haven't talked about. Myles Garrett needs 5 sacks in 6 games to break the record.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Myles Garrett, but you're on the Browns, so I don't care.
Michael Strahan tweeted out something like, well, the record was nice to have. Well, I did. And that's, I think Myles Garrett's going to put up a 24 sack season. I think that's what
We got
gearing
months
up
to
towards.
go, man. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's 5 sacks away. Anyways,
18 sacks on the
that's
year, career high for him. Damn.
yeah, and he's still got plenty of games to go.
And he's not
But
even leading the league in pressures, I don't think.
no, he's just good at sacks. He
Yeah,
he had
he just
5 on
gets
Drake
there.
May, and he had 5 in that one game on Drake May, and he was like, you know what, guys, I think I've got the hang of this whole sack thing.
He's like, this looks good on me.
Anyways, you got any words of wisdom for these people to lead or live their lives by?
Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holiday.
Absolutely.
And
I'm gonna upload this one at 8 a.m. sharp.
nice.
The first game happens at noon. So.
Yeah, true. Gotta get in. We're
Morning to you.
yeah. Put this on as your. This is at the end. I don't know why I'm saying it.
Nobody's
anyways,
watching. It's okay.
I have no words of wisdom. It's fine.
All right. Well,
Toodaloo.
deuces.